New tonight, continued scrutiny of the state's 30-year-old sex offender registration guidelines. Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
And I'm Megan Coleman. It comes after this week's arrest of 33-year-old Ryan Pontello, a level 1 sex offender. Pontello is in jail tonight facing sex crime charges involving a 3-year-old girl and a 5-year-old girl. The NBC3 I-team uncovered 12-year-old court documents showing he was arrested for sex crimes against another 5-year-old girl in Oswego County.
The plea deal he cut landed him on the sex offender registry, but only as a level 1 offender. That's the lowest level, deemed least likely to reoffend. And very little information about level 1 offenders is available to parents or the public. The I-team's Mary Keeler is live outside the Justice Center downtown, finding new information to answer questions parents are asking. Mary.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Documents from the court proceeding to determine a sex offender's risk level are still off limits to us despite our team's continued efforts. And we know Pontello's plea deal lowered that sex abuse charge he faced to a misdemeanor conviction back in 2013. That, plus the fact that the state's risk assessment tool is 30 years old, is at least 2 possible answers to that question. The Onondaga County Sheriff releasing 4 photos of Ryan Pontello, urging people to report other possibly criminal encounters they had with him.
We are concerned that Pontello is a suspect in other incidents.
The sheriff and investigators suspecting Pontello has reoffended runs counter to his status as a level 1 registered sex offender for the past 12 years. New York State defines level 1 offenders as being at a low risk to reoffend.
This case that's happening in Onondaga County is, it's pretty crazy, right, with what he's been alleged of doing. Definitely out of character for somebody who's a level 1.
Legal expert Matthew Winchell of the Tully Rinckey law firm is familiar with the now 30-year-old risk factor assessment tool that's used to assign offenders level 1, 2, or 3 status.
Is it outdated at this point based on how old it is?
I don't necessarily know if it's fully out of date or not. You know, a lot of there's nothing in this list to my knowledge of like computer crimes. So, you know, they could add, you know, did you use a computer for the crime? You know, that would make sense, I think.
State records show Onondaga County is home to more than 1,100 sex offenders. Nearly 40% of them, or 2 out of every 5, are registered as level 1 offenders. Statewide, 1 in 3 offenders are level 1. That's more than 14,000 we know of. But the I-team showed you level 1 offenders are nearly impossible to identify. Their names and photos are not public like level 2s and 3s. And to learn if someone is a level 1 offender, you need some combination of their name, current address, birth date, or social security number. Winchell maintains while this assessment system is 30 years old, it still considers the right things such as a person's criminal history, their current crime, and how they've behaved since.
It's tough to get level 1 status. You know, you basically have to have like already had a relationship with this person, didn't form the relationship for the point of, you know, committing the crime. You have to have basically no criminal history. You know, any criminal history, drug abuse, like that's additional points. So when you actually start looking at the list and start going through it, you almost blink your eye and you're a level 2.
Over the past 3 decades, there have been just a few efforts by lawmakers to update the sex offender risk assessment criteria. Most recently, the Bar Association representing lawyers in New York called for new criteria. And despite that and this Pontello case we've been reporting on all week, guys, there's no signs of any changes coming soon. Live in Syracuse tonight, I'm Mary Keeler.
Something to look at to see if this registration can be even more impactful, Mary, in the future.